So in this next drill, the defender now has his hands down by his side and the attacker already has his knife out, and we progressively increase the distance. And what we found is, again, when the distance is still the same at conversation range or a little bit further, the results are pretty much the same. Possibly because me and Curran, we both train to preemptively strike from wherever our hands are. So, you know, nobody's walking around in a fence position all the time. You know, there's going to be times most times where your hands are down by your side. So if you should be training to strike from wherever your hand happens to be. Whether it's down here, you should be able to strike from there, or whether your hands are up here or out here, you should be able to do something from there. So the results weren't that different. See, I'm still catching here. So from here. See? Yeah. Now, what we've found, as the distance increases, what we were really looking for was the point where it becomes more sensible for your first reaction to be running away rather than attacking the attacker. And what we found is really that distance has to be quite far, surprisingly. Now, the thing is, this will change for each person because it depends on your own, how strong your own running instincts are, or your fight instincts. Also depends on how fast you are, and also depends on the attacker, how good their footwork is and their reaction time, blah blah blah. But what we found is basically even when the attacker is quite out of arm's reach, what happens is their knife is out. The scenario basically is this: you've seen the knife and now you want to turn and run to get away from him. But what's happening is the knife attacker already has you in his, the attacker already has you in his sights. His knife is already out. So as he watches the defender make his move to turn and run, and then align himself with the direction he wants to run in, the attacker starts to go already. So by the time you've turned and started running, quite a lot of distance has been gained by the attacker. And in some instances, you get cut straight away in the back as you're running, and in other cases he'll catch up with you and then cut you. And we can't really, there's a lot of footage which hasn't made it onto this video simply because it happened off screen from where out of shot where we ran, and then I ran away out of the scene and then proceeded to get stabbed to death outside of the range of the viewfinder. So it's very situational, and you're going to have to find out for yourself what distance you're comfortable with running at, as opposed to trying to neutralize the threat. Personally, I found that the guy has to be quite far away. To stab me. What you're going to see in this next drill is basically based on the principle that you have improvised weapons around you. For the sake of the drill, we just used focus mitts lying on the floor. You know, that could be a brick or a rock, or it could be another knife or some sort of tool that's lying around. But basically, the concept was this: you have to go and get that equalizer which is nearby but not on your person, and then use it against the attacker. And again, similar to the running thing, what we found is by the time you've made that distance to the weapon that you're going to use, if the knife attacker is very dedicated in what he's doing and you train this drill properly, he'll be on you like a rash. And especially as you bend down to get it, or reach and lunge to go and get the weapon, whatever it is, by that time you've turned your back on him, or you've presented your side to the attacker, and it's not we found it's not a very good idea. Just down. Yeah, pull it. Yeah, see, you missed. And I stopped, but I could have carried on there and come in. Yeah. And then again.